I grew up in St. Charles, Illinois, and I moved to Elgin after high school. I grew up with 3 older brothers, and I do have one older half brother that I've met once. I grew up with both of my parents in the household. They did end up getting divorced after high school, and everyone went their separate ways. As a little girl, I dreamed of the dream everyone has, getting married, having kids, and living happily ever after. Leading up to getting pregnant, life was not the greatest. I had my 2-year-old, but I was making poor decisions and poor choices. I didn't love myself and where I was in life. And unfortunately, I got a DUI previously. I was going through issues with the son's father. He was a very negative influence, very abusive, into drugs, wasn't someone who I necessarily wanted to have a child with, but unfortunately that was the circumstances at the time.
Where does this love begin? In our own family, in our own home.
It was the summer. I was excited to go out, go on vacation, and come to find out I was pregnant. So I went to the only place that I knew to confirm the pregnancy, which was the center. When I went there, I was extremely nervous, upset, tearful. I had no idea what to do. This wasn't planned. It wasn't something that I wanted. My heart was dead set on having an abortion. I told myself I did not want to have another child. I had health conditions and complications with the first pregnancy that I was scared to go through it again. I didn't want this child's father in my life anymore, and I felt like this was trapping me again for another 18 years. And I didn't know what to do. I was terrified. My support system when I was pregnant was pretty much the same as it is now. My parents don't live in the state. My siblings don't live around here. I had one close friend who wasn't a terrific friend or a good influence. I had just broken up with the father of my child, so he wasn't involved, and basically I have to make a life or death decision about what I'm going to do and what's the right thing to do. After going and meditating and really praying and seeking, the Lord in my heart of what to do, I found that this wouldn't have happened if it wasn't supposed to happen. That if I wasn't going to make it through it, then I would have never gotten pregnant. And I truly believe that if I could do it on my own, by myself with one child, then I had to at least give myself and this baby the opportunity to try. And if I don't do the best, or something happens, or I don't come out of it, then it wasn't meant to be, but at least I know in my heart that I tried for me and my family. The hardest part for me being a single mom is not having someone to lean on and to cry about things with when things are getting hard and overwhelming. I don't have someone who can tap in and let me, tap out and take a break. The hardest part is going out with 2 kids, being young, looking young, and having other people give you judgmental looks. But I look at my children and I love them more than anything in this world, and other people's views about it, they don't matter. They're not raising my children. I am, and I know that they're loved and they're happy. My mentor with the Pregnancy Care Center is one of the most amazing women I have ever met in my life. She supported me throughout my whole pregnancy. She would call me just to check on me and make sure I was okay. She would let me come in and cry and talk, and not necessarily prepare to have a baby to come, but just be someone that I can lean on and be there for me in a time when I didn't have anybody but myself. She invited me out to go to church. I was extremely nervous. I hadn't been to church in a lot of years and had made a lot of bad life choices that I figured the church would frown upon, being a single unmarried mom who was pregnant with her second. She offered to go with me so that I wouldn't have to go alone and be isolated. So we went in, and it was a completely different experience. Everyone was so friendly, and they were thrilled that I was having a baby and wanted to be there. They were supportive, they weren't judgmental, they answered my questions. So I started going every Sunday back to church, meeting more people, and rediscovering what it meant to be part of a family and a religion, and going to church where people enjoy having you there. And it turned my life around and made me feel loved again, and the right kind of love and the right kind of family. My life has changed greatly since going to the pregnancy care center and having this baby. I have stopped drinking. I've stopped hanging around people who do drugs and are in gangs and are abusive and hurtful towards me. I've turned my life around to know what I want and what I deserve in life, and that I'm good enough to ask for those things. I've found the ability to find my voice and set boundaries so that people no longer take advantage of me and hurt me, but that I can be healthy and happy and lead an example for my children. And I wouldn't have been able to do that without the pregnancy center and the people I've met along the way. They're people who inspire me to be a better person, who support my children and my family, and more importantly, they support me being a good person and making good life choices. I first and foremost would like to thank all the donors for the Pregnancy Care Center. I don't know what women who don't know about the center do or where they turn to. It's one of the hardest things to go through in your life is being pregnant, and if it's not the ideal dream of having a husband and a family who support you, it's incredibly overwhelming, and it is the most heartbreaking thing you will go through. And to have these women there who support you and know what you're going through and don't judge you is honestly one of the things that makes it doable and makes it a little bit easier for us. You know, I know there's no way I can ever repay you financially or spiritually for what you've given me, but it has changed my life and changed my heart forever, and there's nothing I can say to thank you for that.
Let us make one strong resolution that we will bring prayer in our family, that we will teach our children to pray and pray with them, and you will see the joy and the love and the peace that will come into your hearts. Because the fruit of prayer is the deepening of faith, and the fruit of faith is love, and the fruit of love is service, and the fruit of service is peace. Works of love are works of peace.